Today I want to share with you 3 habits that will guarantee an increase in your power to weight ratio as a time crunch business owner, entrepreneur, or executive professional. Let's dive straight in. So just to be clear to start with, how do we calculate power to weight ratio? Just to set this out, really we take your current FTP and we divide it by your current body weight in kilos, and that will give you your watts per kilo. Now again, basic terms for many of us, the reason why we want to improve this is so that we can ride our bikes uphill faster. We can climb faster for generally day-to-day riding or challenges, events, trips that you may have, but also just to enjoy riding your bike on multi-terrain and enjoy doing that more. There are also lots of health benefits associated with improving watts per kilo as well. If you can imagine, if we're improving FTP, we're getting fitter, we're improving the efficiency of our VO2 max cardiovascular system, that's really going to have a lot of health benefits. And optimizing your body weight to a sustainable point for you and your lifestyle is also certainly going to have health benefits with it as well. Okay, so that is how we calculate watts per kilo. Now, really, there's only 3 ways that we can increase this. Okay, 1, we can increase FTP or power. Okay, so even if you're at the same body weight, you can sustain that body weight. We can increase FTP, and that will see an increase in watts per kilo. We can also stay at the same FTP, so this can stay the same, and we can reduce body weight, kilos. So if you're at the same FTP but you lose weight, that is also going to increase your watts per kilo. Now, the optimal thing that many of us want to do, many of our clients, and what if you like, the business that we specialize in at My Cycling Coach, we're on the watts per kilo business. This is what we do, is we help our clients and the individuals, especially, as I say, time crunch business owners, entrepreneurs, busy professionals who are struggling to maybe do these things together, or the most successful or the thing that can have the most impact on your watts per kilo is being able to do both of these things together. Okay, it's knowing, it's balancing, building power, fitness, FTP, improving VO2 max, cardiovascular fitness and health, whilst reducing body weight, body fat composition at the same time. And if you would like to see the fastest increase in your watts per kilo, your power to weight, then this is what we really want to try and do. We want to do them both at the same time, do it together, okay? And as I said today, stay with me. I'm going to give you 3 habits that I've learned in my experience of doing this now for the past 10 years, working with many different individuals, mainly probably like yourself, on some of the habits that we have found have been really successful to be able to do this, okay? So, stay with me. Let's dive into habit number 1. As I said, I've got 3 for you today, which are really going to help you. You may already be doing some of these. You might be doing 1 or 2 of them. You might not be doing any of them. Okay. So first habit is our training habit that we're going to run through. Excuse my writing. So the first habit, number 1, training. Okay. So if we really want to improve, let's say the first thing that is going to really help us improve that power to weight, that watts per kilo, is increasing our power and training, putting in a training structure or strategy that is really going to allow you to do that. And if you follow me on the channel a little bit before, you may have seen some of my weekly examples, structured examples that I've shown you how you can implement it into your lifestyle as an individual. And that's what we're going to go through a little bit here in a bit more detail today. Okay, so I'm just going to work on the basis that you watching this, you may have, I imagine, around 3 60-minute rides available to you at the moment, maybe autumn, winter time, certainly. 3 60-minute rides available. You might be able to do 4, but I always find it's better to be realistic, say that we're going to do 3. And if you manage to get an extra ride during the week, then we treat that as a bonus. Better to be realistic and commit to that. I find that also really helps with consistency as well. Okay, so 3 rides. So the first ride that we really want to try and do is looking at performing some VO2 max intervals, okay? This is really going to enhance your body's ability to utilize oxygen, okay? That's going to have some really good benefits, certainly from a health standpoint. Loads of research coming out at the moment on how VO2 max, sustaining the highest VO2 max through life possible, has been associated with living longer and longevity. But also, the more efficient that we can train our body to be at utilising oxygen, it means it's going to be able to transport more oxygen out to the periphery working muscles, which means those muscles are going to be able to produce more force, which is going to result in being able to producing more power, more watts, which is going to increase watts per kilo. Okay, so first session of the week that I'd like you to do in our 3 60-minute sessions that we're targeting here. Let's just put this over here. So we're looking at 3 60-minute sessions is what we're working with. And the first one, really to try and work some of that VO2 max, target that VO2 max system. So you can build out some intervals. I've done videos on this. I'm not going to go really into that today, as that's for another video, or there's lots of things out there. If you need some help doing this as well, please feel free to get in touch, drop some comments below the video, send us some messages on the page or anything. But first session, VO2, just a really quick one. I will give you one that you can use, is the 4x4 protocol, 4 times 4 minutes at 115% of your FTP. Great session. If you're not already doing it, will really help you improve your VO2 max. That's session number 1, okay? Session number 2, in our training habit, the habit that we want to get into, the sessions that we're performing every week, we want to make this a habit, is some threshold. I'm just going to abbreviate this as THR today. Okay, so the reason why we want to improve our threshold, our body's ability to tolerate lactate at around that 4 millimoles, or when you're doing those type of sustained efforts. So anything, should we say, that's between like 10 minutes to around, it could even be up to 30 minutes, all right? And the reason why we want to improve that is that's going to improve our body's ability to tolerate lactate, utilize lactate, sustained effort, sustain those powers, and the body will then become more efficient at those intensities, which tend to be at and around your FTP. And as I said, we can improve that FTP, we can become more efficient at that FTP, produce more power over those sustained durations. That means that FTP is going to increase, and watts per kilo is also going to increase with it as well. So the second session, we want to really try and perform through the week, some threshold intervals. You can build some of those out. There's lots out there on the different platforms, whether that's a virtual platform that you're using or Plan or something that you might be accessing. Again, if you need some help with that, check out some of the earlier videos on the channel where I really show you how to actually build your own VO2 max and threshold sessions. But yeah, that's our second session. The third session then is zone 2. Okay, so our third 60-minute session, zone 2 riding. Now, zone 2, I've done a lot of stuff on this as well before. It's great, really going to improve your aerobic capacity, how you can really then recover cardiovascular fitness. It's improving your cardiac output, the efficiency of the heart, being able to recover, mitochondrial density. It's really going to improve your endurance. Okay. Now you might be thinking, how am I actually going to be able to improve my endurance if it's only on a 60-minute ride? Yes, okay. If you can do a little bit longer of this third ride in this zone 2 work, then there's going to be more benefits. But as I say, we've got to be realistic with the time that you have as a business owner, busy professional, entrepreneur, and really trying to do at least one zone 2 session a week is going to be better than not doing any. So it's better to perform this consistently and see the benefits of it. If you can, potentially what we see with some of our clients are the individuals that we work with, they may do VO2 max threshold, and then at the weekend, they may have a bit longer than 60 minutes. You might have 90 minutes, for example, that you can do some zone 2 riding. You may even have a bit more time. Or another way you could do this is if you have got time for a 4th ride, then I would recommend that you do 2 zone 2 rides, and then you have the VO2 max and threshold. So the 3 are the minimum structure. If you're going to add a 4th ride in, then please add that zone 2 ride in there, and that's really going to help you improve that power output, improve fitness, cardiovascular fitness, VO2 max, lactate tolerance, all of those physiological adaptations that are associated with performing these types of training methods. Okay? So that's training habit number 1. If you can start building that into your week, excellent. You'll see some really good progress. You'll see that power will increase, and we're already on the way to improving your watts per kilo, your power to weight ratio. Great. I'll just leave that up there. Take a picture, take a screenshot if you need to, or yeah, you can obviously rewind the video back if you want to take that when you may already be taking some notes, looking at actually structuring some of your weeks now coming into the winter. This is a great way to do it. Okay. Brilliant. So stick with me because I'm now going to show you the nutritional habit, and this is absolutely key to really helping you as well increase that watts per kilo. Okay, so habit number 2, which is proven for success, guaranteed for success, is looking at your nutrition. This pen isn't working very well, so I'm going to change that out there. Nutrition. Absolutely crucial. We can have a great training program. We can be training really well, but if the nutrition isn't there to match that, make sure I've spelt that right. Nutrition, yep, just about, I think so. Apologies, I'm looking at that the wrong way around. Nutrition. So let's dial in. My smart fueling philosophy, absolutely key. Basic understanding, and I think I did a video on this a few weeks ago, is really looking at what is required nutritionally on the day to actually fuel the training or the training that you're not doing. And this is what I'd like you to just start thinking. If it's on a training day, these are the calories that I need to take into account for the training that you're doing. If it's on a rest day, not. So the first thing to do is identify your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. And this is without including any exercise. These are just the calories that you need to sustain your normal day-to-day. So that's including work life, family life, just the normal things that you have going on through your day. That I would also say includes walking the dog, playing sports with the children maybe. These are just your general day-to-day activities that are going to be needed for your BMR. So for many of our clients that we work with, they're looking to lose 10 to 15 kilos as part of working with us as the individuals normally who we help do so. This normally sits between 1,500 and 1,750, depending, as I say, on what their day normally entails. If you're at 1,500, that probably means that literally you go to the office, you sit at your desk all day, you come home and that's it, okay? If, as I say, you've got a dog that you take out for a walk, you might take the children to a particular sports training, or you're out walking or doing other activities, you may be between 1,750, and that may also mean that your job is a little bit more, there's a bit more physical activity in your day-to-day, might be a bit more manual labour with the job that you're doing, you're on your feet a little bit more through the day. Absolutely crucial that you identify what this is, and these calories are then going to be what you have on a rest day, okay? This is what we have to use on a rest day. Secondly then, is we need to then adapt this and add any exercise, so calories through exercise, so we'll just write calories through training. These are what need to be added, and this is where a lot of people go wrong to this, okay? So this is going to ensure, this would have had a deficit applied to it as well, by the way. You can use, shall we say, there's lots of apps out there that you can use, lots of websites to calculate your BMR. If you are looking to lose 10 to 15 kilos, then it would have probably applied around a 500 calorie deficit to get you to this 1,500 or 1,750 calories. Okay, now, big mistake that people will make is they'll just stay at this even on a training day. And then they'll start to get hungry, they'll start to get headaches, low in energy. And that particular, should we say, if you're calling it a diet or intervention that you're looking to do, or those sustainable changes you're trying to make to get to a certain body composition or weight loss target, are no longer sustainable because you don't have the energy to do that. So this is what's really going to help you, allow you to do that. So what we want to do is, if you've done, let's take that VO2 max session, for example, that I said, first session of the week, it doesn't always need to be the first session, by the way, but let's just take the VO2 max session. In that VO2 max session, on average, you will burn around 750 calories. Okay? So what we want to do on a training day is add these 750 calories to, let's just say it's our 1,500 calories. That means on a training day, when you're doing your VO2 max session, that you need to eat 2,250 calories. And the reason this is great is, one, it means you're going to eat more calories, which you're going to be able to actually fuel that training session. VO2 max training session, if you've ever done one, they're quite hard. So you need to have some energy available. If you can make some tweaks there, actually have a bit more carbohydrate with that as well, certainly for any anaerobic, so basically your VO2 max or your threshold session, make sure you're having some carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are making up these calories, certainly pre and during ride. Then that means you can have more energy for the session. You're actually going to be able to fuel with more calories through the day. You're still going to be in a deficit, so you're going to be able to lose weight, but you have energy to increase power at the same time. And that's what comes back to saying earlier, what we specialize in here at MCC. We're in that power to weight business, helping you actually fuel an increase in power whilst being able to sustainably lose weight at the same time. And this is really coming down to the basics of how we help you do this. Obviously, there needs to be a few more individual factors normally taken into account, which we do when we work with you as an individual, but this will really put you get you going in the right direction. Okay, and the third thing is, as I say, really with that is the fueling. Okay, so just a few things. If you're doing a VO2 session or a threshold session, the fueling, we want to be targeting pre-any ride around 1 gram of carbohydrate per kg of body weight, 1 to 3 hours before going into that session. So if you're doing the session really early in the morning, have to do your VO2 session early, have that the evening prior. So let's just say you're doing your VO2 max session on a Wednesday morning. Tuesday evening, try to have 1 gram of carbohydrate per kg, or have 0.75 grams of carbohydrate per kg. The evening before, that means you can wake up on the Wednesday morning, you can actually have a little bit of breakfast, quickly have something, banana, coffee, get on the bike, and you've fueled well, okay? And then with that is post-ride or through the day. Certainly if you're undergoing any type of structured training, trying to have 1.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight as your daily total, okay? And this is now, we've got you a calorie target, and you're starting to actually look at your macronutrients as well, how you can optimize those and use them, as I say, to fuel for training. The protein is going to really help with recovery, and it's also going to suppress hunger down a little bit and just pack out with your day with some good quality calories there. And I would also recommend lots of fruits, lots of vegetables. Water-based fruit and veg is really good as well. It's really low in calories, but it also really fill you up as well. And that's some ways that you can do that there. Okay, so nutritional habits. Find out what that BMR is. Find out where your calories are, and start forming a habit with just looking at what that BMR is, but the calories that you're actually burning during your training, adding those on training days to your BMR, and then using some of those fueling targets that I've just mentioned as well, which will really help to optimize your training and ensure that body composition, the kilos are coming down, the power's going up, and that is what's really going to help you with improving that power to weight. Great, and then we're going to move on now to the final habit, okay, to really help this stay on track. And that is recovery. And what recovery helps is consistency. Okay, so third habit, there's almost two in here, but we're just going to join them together. So recovery is absolutely crucial. The better we can recover through the week is going to help our riding, our training, but it's also mean you can have more energy just for if you're running a business, if you're a busy executive, if you're an entrepreneur, really stressful, and you're going to need to ensure that you've still got energy and you're recovered, not only for your training, but also just for your day-to-day life. And I'm sure if you've got a family and other things as well, then yeah, you've got a lot going on, which is to say that's why this should really help you. So firstly, recovery. So we've mentioned protein just previously on that habit there on the nutrition. This is key, trying to have at least 1.5 grams of protein per kg of body weight. And this is your daily total. Okay, that's what we really want to be in to help you recover. Stay consistent with your training, because if you're not recovering well, you're going to be sore, you're going to be low in energy again, and that's going to then affect consistency and mean that you're not even going to be able to perform those 3 or 4 60-minute sessions that we mentioned earlier. So really staying on top of that there. The second one is hydration. Okay, so during any ride that you do, I would recommend at least 500 milliliters of fluid per hour of every training. So that basically means for a 60-minute session, ensure that you're consuming at least 500 milliliters per hour, okay? And on a training day, generally, like for a 24-hour target, for males, I would say you probably want to be between 3 to 4 liters of fluid on a training day. Obviously, if you're training for longer, or the type of training you're doing in the climate that you're living in, the heat, sweat rates, there's lots of other things that come into this in general, but generally 3 to 4 liters of fluid. And this is your total fluid consumption, by the way. So this is coffee, tea, pre-ride, during ride, post-ride, meal times, really ensuring that you're staying hydrated. Because if you're dehydrated, it's going to affect recovery, energy levels. So really 3 to 4 liters of fluid. For females, I would say 2 to 3 liters as a target there as well with it, okay? But there are lots of factors that are going to influence what that actually equates to. You may not need to have quite as much of that, depending on the training you're doing. If you're over in Spain and it's 30 degrees and you're going out for a 5-hour ride, then this is obviously going to be more. This is just generally probably for a 60 to 90-minute session in a moderate climate where sweat rates are at their normal. That's what I'd really recommend to help you stay hydrated and recover with that then there as well. And the third and final one, which is a challenge for many of us, certainly as I say, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, busy professional with a family, is sleep. Okay, absolutely crucial. There's lots of gadgets out there that are coming out now. We can go in as many ice baths as we want through the day. We can put recovery boots on. We can try and eat as much protein. We can hydrate and do everything there. We can cool down, warm up, stretch and everything. But there's no better recovery technique than really just trying to get as close to 8 hours sleep per night. Okay, and I'm sure at some point in your life or recently you would have felt that, or some point in your life, maybe not recently if you're watching this and you have got children and you're very busy, but you would have had 8 hours sleep and probably felt amazing the next day. So you can probably relate to this. And imagine just how much that's going to help recovery, consistency. It might be that sometimes through the week you can only get 6 hours sleep, but if you can try and then for maybe even 2 nights of the week or 3 nights of the week, get as close to 8 hours as possible, as close to 8 hours as possible. 7 to 8 hours, should we say, is where you, no less than really 7 hours if possible, but I understand that is not always possible. But 7 to 8 hours, if there's a couple of nights through the week where you can, maybe at the weekend, if it's possible for you to do that, get around 8 hours, then you're really going to feel the benefits with that as well. Okay, so yeah, there we have it. 3 habits, if we can build those habits in. So firstly, the training habits at the start, as I say, the structure, if you can follow that structure, build that, make that habit, performing that consistently weekly, then you're going to see some great improvements in your power. As we say, the first way to improve your watts per kilo, one of the ways you can do it is by increasing your power output, your fitness, your VO2 max, your FTP. The second way is by reducing body weight, body composition. So nutritional habits, look at your BMR, look at the training you're doing, get some idea there. Lots of apps, websites out there that will help you. They even sync in now with the devices that I'm sure you're using, so it can almost automate it. So you can literally, on your wearable, look how many calories you're burning through the day. And then, as I say, my smart fueling philosophy there, just adjust that accordingly. And thirdly, to be able to train and be consistent with nutrition, we really want to ensure that we're recovering well and being consistent with it. And just some of these things, protein intake, hydration, fruits, vegetables, as I mentioned, as much sleep, staying hydrated, that's going to ensure that you can be consistency. Consistency is key. That's what's really going to get you there. Hope you found this useful. For those who are just new to the channel, Ben from My Cycling Coach, by the way, been doing this now for the past 10 years, the research, the coaching, the application, helped over 500-600 individuals now achieve 3 watts per kilo and beyond with their power to weight ratio. These are just some of the habits and the basics that we do. If you're new, please subscribe. If you found this useful, please drop a thumbs up on the video, click the like button below, share it with some of your colleagues as well, or maybe you're at clubs and things. Would love to get this out there if that helps people. And yeah, keep up the great work with it. If you would like to get in touch, discuss, and say these are just some of the basics. If you find out maybe a little bit more on if we could potentially help you, or you find you just need a bit of accountability, some coaching with that as well, there'll be a link on the page here, maybe below. You can book in with me or one of the team. We can just have an initial consultation, have a chat. There, we'll just see if we can help. If we can, we'll discuss some coaching options. If we can't, we'll try and point you in the right direction. And there'll also be some testimonials as well if you want to check out on one of those pages some of the clients we have helped, just to see that this stuff actually does really work. And there's some case studies and some of our clients that we've helped as well. Otherwise, keep up the great work, and I'll see you in the next video.